Good morning, Anna. How are you doing today? Well, thank you for waiting. I appreciate that. I hope the... No, Yes, I said I hope. I hope the title for today's stream isn't... is sufficiently misleading. The Long Dark, 10 Things You Didn't Know. I'm not going to be telling anybody 10 things about the Long Dark. I'm going to be talking about 10 things other than the Long Dark, if I can remember to go through 10. It just struck me as being amusing. Have you seen those videos? Top 10 something or others, fill in the blank, and then it says, the last one nobody guessed. I ought to do something like that just for a change, and then come up with 10 absolutely banal things. Right, where was I? I'm getting my morning and evening live streams mixed up in my head. Right, I was at the Carter Hydroelectric Dam, wasn't I? And I think I was pondering. I can't remember if I mentioned it. I might have been pondering that while I'm there, I might as well head into Pleasant Valley, because why not? Right, let's see. Where am I? What am I doing? What time of day is it? Okay, it's late in the day. Right. Let's see what I've got on me in order for a trip to Pleasant Valley. I think I have one crowbar too many. I'll keep the maple. Why have I got a mountaineering rope? Does anybody remember why I am carrying 5 kilograms of mountaineering rope? Because I certainly don't remember. And I do want to make some bandages up from that, don't I? Oh no, that was my crampons. And where's my... I do have my... Do I have my old man's beard on me? Yes, I do clearly have my old man's beard. What I meant was this. I haven't seen acorns yet. That's interesting. I've actually eaten, or drunk I should say, ersatz coffee made from acorns. I made it when I was a kid. I'd heard that you could make coffee out of roasted acorns, and so we tried it. It kind of works, is the best answer I can give you. Right, what else do I need? What can I get rid of? Wouldn't mind replacing my knife, but I should have a whetstone on me. Aha! I wondered what had happened to that. Now I know. Let's at least drop that. I'm not going to need the dusting sulfur. What else have I could probably, if I'm going to a new location, grab a better knife. Don't really need that. I do have some antiseptic, but I could use a bit more. Do I have antibiotics? Ah, right. Don't have antibiotics, do I? Hang on. Drop that. Painkillers I've got. Let's see. Drop that. Where did I use all my antibiotics? Yes, thank you. Clearly I did. Do I? I should have some lying around. I don't want to make an excursion to somewhere like Pleasant Valley without antibiotics on me. Let me see. Matches. Water bottle. Spray paint. Painkillers. Painkillers. I guess I don't have any antibiotics here, do I? I don't really want to go dashing off. Yes, I don't really remember conversations too well. Yeah, because I used them all up after being attacked by that wolf, didn't I? Alright. I think... I'm going to have to go and... I'm going to have to go back to camp. To the ranger outpost. Good morning, Bubblegum. You find me in the process of trying to persuade myself to go to Pleasant Valley, but I don't have any antibiotics. Which I think I will need. Drat. Drat. What's the weather like? Oh, it's not too bad. I could almost make a dash. I don't think I will, but I could. Oh. Can you wear out your crampons? Ooh, yes, I'm not going wandering around in that. What's my charcoal situation like? It's normally pretty good. Oh, it's not good. Where's my charcoal? Oh, yeah. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to have to go back to camp, back to the ranger station to pick up my penicillin. Yes, it is. If you you can probably see to my right a laptop, which is what, 4-5 years old now, but there's a clock on it, and it is that you heard chiming. If I could afford a grandfather clock, I'd be awfully tempted to have one. at least I got some food here. I will drop off some of my food because where's my water gone? Because when I head to the valley, I'll take the MREs with me. I think I've read that, haven't I? Okay. Quick trip back to the ranger station is called for, and my cursor has just done that thing it does. Yeah. Never mind that I'm also got my clothes quite soaked. They will dry on me overnight. And I suppose if I'm heading off to somewhere new, I should take the revolver with me. So, while I have a moment, I kind of promised 10 things you didn't know. Oh, I'll wait for your conversation to cease.
The sun's setting. It's gonna get a lot colder soon.
Oh, I didn't say they'd be good. Right, number 1. Have you heard of the coelacanth? The coelacanth is an example of what is known as a Lazarus taxa. That is an animal thought to be extinct because we found it in the fossil record, but then subsequently found to be alive. Now, the interesting thing is, it is sometimes used by anti-science people as an illustration that evolution doesn't work. Well, there's a couple of problems with that. The first is that the coelacanth in the fossil record isn't exactly the same as the coelacanth we find now. There have been some changes. However, the biggest change is in fact that the coelacanths in the fossil record were shallow water species. The coelacanth that we get today is a very deep water species, and the amount of evolution required to adapt a shallow water species to a deep water species is profound. The biochemistry pretty much has to have a substantial rework, because at the depths that the modern coelacanth lives, its biochemistry has had to be adapted to freezing cold and extreme pressures, which shallow water species would not have had. So there is something you didn't know about the coelacanth. I know, that's why I put it that way. I never said I was going to say 10 things you didn't know about the long dark. I said 10 things you didn't know. Do you really think I'm going to do one of those horrible 10 things lists? No, you should know me better by now. Second thing you might not know. This is about the book of John in the Bible. Now, the most famous story, arguably, in the book of John, apart from the death and resurrection of the main protagonist, is the story of the woman caught in adultery. It's a very, very famous story. And it's not original to the Book of John. The original manuscripts that we have of the Gospel according to John do not have the story in. The story of the woman caught in adultery was added in several hundred years later. And in fact, I think there's even a history behind it in the manuscripts, in that some people took it out and some scribes put it back in, and I believe there's even some footnotes in some manuscripts saying, ignore what the previous scribe said. Oh, I got another one for you. Number 3. And again, this is actually the Gospel according to John. Most Christians, not all, but most Christians believe in the doctrine of the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. It's laid out in the Gospel of John fairly explicitly, although it wasn't called the Trinity, it was called that afterwards. However, the original Gospel, according to John, did not have those lines in it. It's completely missing. The concept of the Trinity was developed, oh grief, I'm trying to remember whether it was the 2nd or 3rd century after Jesus. In fact, when the Bishop's Bible was being translated, I think I got that right, which would have been about mid-16th century, so 1500s, the translator didn't include the doctrine of the Trinity in his translation of the Gospel of John, and he got into trouble for this because it was established theology and had been established theology for centuries, not for the entirety of Christianity, just for centuries. And he was approached about this, and he said, accurately, because we still have the manuscripts, that the manuscripts he was using to do his translation did not in any way, shape or form mention the Trinity. However, he said, if someone were to come up with a Greek manuscript that included it, he would, in his next edition of his Bible translation, include the doctrine of the Trinity. And lo and behold, he was presented with a Greek translation, a Greek version of John, which had the Trinity in it. And in fact, we have very early Gospels of John, which not only do not include the story of the woman caught in adultery, they do not include reference to Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. And in fact, there are still Christian denominations, and the first that occurs to me is the Jehovah's Witnesses, who do not believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God. So that's number 3. Number 4 has been provided for me. In the game The Long Dark by Hinterland, you cannot find deer, rabbits or ptarmigan during an aurora. Thank you, Bubba, for that inclusion. What are we up to? Number 5. Now this one's a little bit tricky. Number 5. The most influential aircraft of all time. Now I have an opinion on this because I used to run an aviation related YouTube channel. Now if you were to ask most people who were familiar with early aviation about what was the most influential aircraft of all time, they would probably say the Wright Flyer. And there's, it's an understandable thing to say. There's been a lot of coverage of the Wright Flyer. However, The Wright Flyer was an antiquated design right from the start. Now, at the same time that the Wright, well, I should carry on. After their first flight in 1903, the Wrights were not believed in Europe. It was considered to have been an example of bad recording at best and an outright lie at worst. And we're not just talking about the average person. Robert Esnault, hang on. Robert Esnault-Pelterie? No, I can't remember his name now. Considered reports coming out of the United States about the Wright Flyer to be rubbish, and this was because he had actually experimented with the 1902 Wright glider and nearly gotten himself killed flying it because of mistakes in the designs that had been published. Now, at the same time, the French, who were arguably the leaders in aeronautical research, had actually been working fairly busily on aircraft designs. So I put forth the idea that the most influential aircraft of all time was in fact the Blériot Type 11. Now, if you take a look at the Blériot Type 11, it is a surprisingly modern looking design. It's a monoplane. It has the engine at the front, which, by the way, was not unique necessarily. It had an undercarriage. It could taxi to its place of takeoff, land, and then taxi back to its hangar, something the Wright Flyer could not do. Secondly, in 1909, the Blériot Type 11 was the first aircraft to demonstrate that aircraft could fly across substantial bodies of water when it crossed the English Channel. A 1908 Wright Flyer was actually lined up to make the attempt and didn't because they didn't like the weather, but the Blériot went ahead, and while it crashed on landing, it still counts. And it has to be said, pretty much by 1908, the Wrights aircraft were obsolete. The Wrights never actually really continued with their series of aircraft. In the United States, they never did a public flight after 1903. I think it wasn't until 1908 that they did public flights. And the one person in the US who did more for the public perception of flight was Glenn Curtiss. Now, the Blériot Type 11 not only was a surprisingly modern-looking design for something that flew across the Channel in 1909, it actually saw service in World War I in the Balkans until 1915. I've got a picture somewhere of a two-seater Blériot with a Schwarzlose heavy machine gun in the rear seat. And so I put it to you that the most influential aircraft of all time would be the Blériot Type 11. It has to be said that the Americans trailed behind the rest of the world in aircraft development because of the Wright-Curtiss patent war, which basically lasted for about a decade until the American entry into World War I in 1917. In the meantime, the French in particular, and the English and the Germans and pretty much everybody else surged ahead, so that essentially the Wrights' approach to aircraft was completely obsolete. In fact, it had been completely obsolete within a year or two of their first flight. Okay, that's not necessarily... Well, that's 10 things you didn't know. That's one thing you didn't know, in my opinion. Oh, look, we have decent weather. I just need it to warm up a bit, and I can go and get my painkillers. Yeah, actually, if you're interested in aeronautical history, the Curtiss Wright patent war is kind of fascinating. While the Wrights' achievement should never be understated, I think it was the Wrights themselves said they stood on... Was it the Wrights who said they stood on the shoulder of giants? When the Wrights came to patent something, anything that they could, they were basically unable to. They couldn't patent the aircraft because that had already been invented. In fact, the whole concept of the aircraft goes back, oh grief, certainly well down to the mid-19th century. And probably earlier. I'd have to go and revisit some of my... Yes, this is true. yeah, let's do that. But yeah, there was nothing in the Wright Flyer that was really worthy of being patented. Not the aircraft, not the engine, not the wings. In the end, the Wrights actually decided to patent their method of lateral control. That's what allows an aircraft to turn, which was wing warping. Now, the problem is they should not have been granted the patent for wing warping because wing warping was in the public domain. And if it's in the public domain, you don't get to say we invented it, because they didn't. And in fact, the Wrights themselves made it public at least as early as 1902 when they published the designs for their 1902 glider, which included wing warping. However, the fame of the Wrights almost certainly contributed to them getting a patent that they did not deserve. Now, granted, I should add on arguably, but that's... While I'm not an aviation historian, I know a wee bit about it. And in fact, I have somewhere in the back of my head a whole script about this. And at this point, I've got to stop talking about the esoterica of forgotten aviation and focus on not getting myself eaten. I've always been a bit suspicious about the plans that were published for the 1902 Wright glider. I don't think the Wrights published it themselves. It was one of their collaborators, a guy called Octave Chanute. Curiously, Octave Chanute wrote a letter to the Wrights basically saying they couldn't patent wing warping because it was, already known about, a done deal. But the calculations, the mathematics in their scheme, in their schematics for the 1902 Wright Flyer turned out to be wrong and nearly killed a French aviation pioneer who subsequently decided, not knowing that the mathematics were incorrect, that wing warping just didn't work. And he, instead, switched to using ailerons. Now, he didn't invent ailerons. In fact, he never patented ailerons. And arguably, the reason for this is because ailerons have been patented by, oh grief, what was his full name? William Piers Bolton in 1868 in England. And so the funny thing about aviation is that by the time the Wrights did in fact make their first flight, most of the concepts had been done. All aspects of flight existed. The skill of the Wrights was to put it all together in a functional package. Oh, look, there's the wolf I stabbed. Oh, I've already been there, haven't I? Must have been. Ah. I'm not going to... I just want the hide. Just want the hide. There we go. Because the hide doesn't stink. Wow, that wolf came a long way. Ooh, that's a deer. I might get the hide off that as well. I'm trying to think of number 6. Alright, let's go completely esoteric. There is, or was, a world record for the highest velocity achieved from a conventional brass cartridge case. Back in the 1960s, and I want to say 1965, Guns and Ammo magazine, which was for decades one of the premier firearms magazines, commissioned the development of an ultra-high velocity cartridge. It was called the 22 2278 Irgendsplitten Loudenboomen. I kid you not, that's what they called it. It was a 378 Weatherby case, painstakingly necked down to 22 caliber, and it achieved a muzzle velocity of, if I recall correctly, 5,500 feet per second. I have actually seen claims that they got 6,000 out of it. Now, this was purely a technical exercise. Nobody in their right mind would ever deliberately use the thing for serious purpose, like small game hunting. Because when you funnel a massive amount of powder down such a small tube, the result tends to be that you burn out the barrel. And in fact, barrels for this round only lasted about 20-25 rounds before being completely useless, the rifling removed, and the whole thing was, pointless. But as an achievement, that must have been fun to work on. At least I think so. Now, I did say I probably would take the revolver with me. Let me drop off my... Come on. Antibiotics! Yay! All the way back here for that. I'm going to take the revolver and the ammunition. Anything else I might need? I must remember to remove that corpse. Oh, there's my firearm cleaning kit that I thought I had in a different game. More dusting sulfur. I've got... Ooh, no. Do I not have any more antibiotics? It would appear not. That is interesting. Not antibiotics, sorry, what do they call it? Hydrogen peroxide? antiseptic. Excuse me a second. Am I going to sneeze? Apparently not. Anybody think of anything else I should take with me? Right, might as well head back. Oh, my nose is tickling something ferocious. Okay. Let us go back the way we came. Pleasant Valley. I was thinking of going to Pleasant Valley. On the grounds of why not? I've got MREs there, so I've got enough for 2 days. Plus whatever I find. I've got a firearms cleaning kit on me. And I know there is no wolf between me and the dam except the one at the dam itself. And I've still got time. I'll pick up wood at the dam, so if I have to stay out at night I can do that, if I can find a suitably sheltered spot. Yes, if nothing else, the last 2 evening sessions, yes, have certainly, maybe slightly emboldened me. I mean, you're right. Making my way through that blizzard and still coming out ahead was quite an eye-opener. So, I'm trying to think. How many? I've done 6 facts, I think. So what should I say about number 7? Number 7. I was about to say any suggestions, but then that would be things you didn't know. Okay, number 7. Maybe. Let's see if this counts. Number 7. In this day and age, most people are familiar with and do not like mentioning very much the word crusade. This is particularly contentious amongst certain countries in the Middle East and certain people from the Middle East, or whose ancestry is from the Middle East. Now, in all the discussion that you hear about the evils of the Crusades, and let's be honest, yes, there were, but any war ultimately is pretty evil, and honestly the Crusades were probably no more evil than, say, the 30 Years' War. What is never considered is what could conceivably considered the Muslim Crusade against the West. Because after the death of Muhammad, and I was talking about this the other day actually with somebody on the live stream, after the death of Muhammad, and I don't remember the political or tactical reasons for doing so, Muslim armies essentially rampaged across the Middle East through North Africa and made it into Spain. They got into Spain during the late 7th, early 8th century and stayed there for the next 700 or 800 years. They weren't finally defeated and kicked out until the late 15th century. But what is not generally known is just how far into Western Europe the Muslim armies actually got. I mean, yes, there is Spain, but there was a battle fought in, I think it was 720 of the Common Era, in central France. A raiding army out of Italy made it all the way up to roughly the region that is now Poitiers, and that is Poitiers as in the Battle of 1356. Now, the Battle of Tours has been... Some have said that without the Battle of Tours, Muslim armies would have continued up from Spain and into Western Europe, and the world would be quite different. There is possibly some validity to that argument. You could certainly argue that without the Battle of Tours, maybe the armies in Spain might have considered it worthwhile to continue further. However, what happened is pretty much after the Battle of Tours, that kind of brought further expansion into Western Europe out of Spain to an end. There you go, that's something that people don't really know. Now, that's not really the end of the story, because from the east, the Ottomans actually captured a fair section of Eastern Europe, including coming as far west as Romania and the Balkans. You may have well heard of Vlad Tepes, Vlad Dracul, Vlad the Impaler. He actually was something of a hero in his region, because he spent a large part of his life fighting off Ottoman armies with mixed results, because the Ottomans remained dominant in that part of Europe roughly until about World War I. However, that doesn't mean that was as far west as they came, because the last time a serious effort was made to invade further west into Europe was actually the Siege of Vienna in 1668, if I'm remembering my dates correctly. Okay, I've got some space, I've got some room. I'm not sure if that counts as number 7 in the list of things you didn't know, or maybe 7, 8, and 9. Right, I've got no reason to hang around. I might as well get going, mightn't I? Ooh. Ah, well. No more things you didn't know until I get out of here. Let's see. Hang on. Kind of concentrating here a bit. Not that I really need to. I've been up and down here so often I should know this layout with my eyes shut. Did I pick up my... Do you know what I didn't pick up? Anybody want to guess what I didn't pick up? Didn't pick up my bedroll. Nope. No, I don't have a pot. All my pots are back in Milton. Didn't pick up my blasted bedroll. I do have a torch on me though, so hopefully that'll be enough. Oh dear. Let's see, I should have a torch on me. I do. Oh, 36%. That should be enough, shouldn't it? I've got lantern fuel back at the ranger station. I might actually have another one here. I do. I think I've got 2 in this area. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. As long as I haven't forgotten anything significant, I'll be good. Yeah, no, I think that one's empty. And the other one down here is also empty. I just need to remind myself when I come back I need... Yeah, this one I believe is empty. Yeah. Oh, here's here's one. It's going back to evolution. One thing that used to be claimed was that the evolution from single-celled to multi-celled organisms had never been observed and hadn't happened. Now, that's not actually true, because it has actually been observed in the laboratory. There's a few papers on the subject. A particular species of single-celled algae, blue-green algae, was they had 5 populations. One was a control, and the others were exposed to a predatory flagellum. Now, these single-celled algae were motile, that is, they moved around using, I think, cilia. But the flagellum was an active predator on these single-celled organisms. Now, the populations of single-celled algae were exposed to this flagellum. This predatory flagellum. And 2 of the populations underwent the transition from single-celled to multi-celled. Now, the cluster size varied over time. This wasn't colonial, by the way. It's not like simply they're all clustering together. The cell size stabilized at around a cluster of 5 to 7 cells. And what was determined was that in the 2 populations that successfully made this transition, the cause was a mutation. And it was a slightly different mutation in both populations. So we have observed the switch from single-celled to multi-celled organisms in the lab. So we know it can happen. So the idea of when was the first when was the first two-celled animal, or when was the first three-celled animal, which is something of a straw man argument, turns out to be quite false. Can anybody remember which way I go from here? Ah, it's down here, isn't it? Hello, rabbits. Oh, I'm sorry, I've missed all the conversation that's going on. I apologize. I've been talking too much. Which way do I go?
That'll come in handy.
Well, there's enough wood in here if I need it. Oh, I'm glad your mum's doing better, Anna. Huh. Well, guessing that was the wrong way. I'm going to have to build a fire and make another torch. Forgot that I would have to be spending significant time in a cave, I'm afraid. That works. Ah, well. Alright, where am I going? Ah. Well, I don't know if I've gotten turned around, but I'm going somewhere that I haven't been, so that's a step in the right direction. But that looks promising. What do we think? Welcome to Pleasant Valley. Seeing as we're coming up for the hour, and as I need to concentrate next, I am going to do my usual. I am going to take a quick break, and I will be... Oh, thank you very much. I'll head left. In which case I should probably switch over to the rifle. Right, I will see. Given that there's a bear near here, I'll head up that way. Yep. Give me 2 or 3 minutes, well, 3 or 4 minutes, and I will be right back. Yeah, Bubba, that first GIF you put on there is animated for me. Right, where am I going? What am I carrying? Oh, some rifle. I was wondering why. Okay, so Hunter's Blind that way. Possible bear that way. Let's get ourselves down from here first. Ooh. Getting on the overloaded side there. How do I get down? Just looking for a way down. Ah. This... Right. Probably ought to try and find a place to stay. See you, Anna. Alright. Let's take the chance and go right. Oh, sorry. Well, there's a bridge. Bridges are promising. Am I going more or less the right way, Bubba? Apart from the wolf. Civilization. I need a place to stay. I went across the bridge. Waiting for that pesky wolf to get out of the way. Yeah, I don't remember it that well. Essentially, I'm following the road. Well, that's what I've heard, except I'm moderately certain I've had it happen. Something you did not know about the Long Dark. If you walk away from wolves, they will not attack you. Unless they do. I think he's close enough that if I were to stand up, he'd probably notice. Yeah, I know about the not running away thing. I think. Well, this is the first time in this run that I've gone somewhere I don't know. And I know I was in Pleasant Valley a couple of nights ago in the evening session, but I'm afraid I don't remember much about it. A 100 messages? Thanks, Baba. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to share this stream on my own social media. Not that anybody really pays much attention to that, I don't think, but I should have tried it. I've got Facebook. That's about it. I mean, I'm on Blue Sky because a lot of people I knew on Facebook were switching over to it. I used to have LinkedIn. I spent a huge amount of time on LinkedIn and it was a complete waste of my time. I never got anything worthwhile. Oh, that's not entirely true. Oh, there's something people don't know. Back in the 1980s, there was an author called Gale Rivers. Now, he wrote a few books back then which were moderately influential, moderately well known, somewhat somewhat controversial. And now Raymond Brooks appears to have been something of a con man. He and his writing partner, who was a journalist named, Hudson, I think was his last name. His writing partner basically vouched for him. This, by the way, was not that uncommon a thing back then. There were Sven Hassel. Wrote a series of books allegedly based on his wartime experiences, which received considerable criticism, apparently claiming things that he wasn't really. So it was a little bit of trend in 80s action/war literature at the time. Now, what is not commonly known, although it's relatively easy to find out, is that Gale Rivers' real name, was Raymond Brooks. Now, Raymond Brooks ended up owning a company in Switzerland, which was doing import-export types of things. Aha, shelter. Oh, by the way, the work he's arguably best known for is The Five Fingers. Five Fingers is a good read, don't get me wrong. It gets a lot of things wrong. It gets, Ah, look at this. Weekly bingo at the community hall. Now, Raymond Brooks, not only was he a bit of a con man and a liar in his professional life as a writer, turns out to have been something the same in his real life. He, and I found this out from someone who used to work for him. In fact, she was in contact with me a few times because I wanted to find the guy to see whether or not I could get... I wanted to see if I could get permission for an electronic version of the Five Fingers that I had done. Anyway, this led to me finding this lady that used to work for him. From her, I found out that he was last heard of basically running from his creditors and had last been seen vanishing in a cloud of dust and small pebbles into the hinterland of Australia and has not been heard of since. Apparently the British military was one of his victims, and they would apparently very much like a nice extended word with him. Some of these facts about Raymond Brooks are known, like his name, but his shenanigans outside of the writing community
Could end up being useful.
are not known. And while I'm not going to claim unique knowledge, what I just related is something that most people are completely unaware of.
What did we hear?
And that is pretty... Oh, tomato soup. And the reason I wanted to find him, as I said, I did an electronic version of the Five Fingers.
This stuff will come in handy.
And I wanted to find this Brooks character to see whether he would give me permission to publish
I need more of that.
the ebook version of it. I went to the extent, so that led me to finding this person who used to work for him to find out whether or not she knew how to contact him, and that's when I found out this stuff about him having basically run for the hills. Excuse me. I actually contacted the publisher of the Five Fingers. And I initially contacted what I thought was the right publisher and turned out to be the wrong one. But they were very kind, and they actually directed me to the correct publisher, who I got in communication with. Oh, look at that. Painkillers and antibiotics. Well, I think I found where I'm staying for the night. But it turned out to be quite this little... So anyway, the publisher essentially said to me, we don't know what the copyright situation is. It is, I think their expression was, something of a grey area. So I could, in principle, publish my electronic version of the Five Fingers and see what happens. Because if it flushed him out of the woodwork, there's quite a few people who would very much like a word with him. Now it's getting quite late. So it was quite a fascinating, brief little interlude. And so that is definitely something people don't know about. Even people who are fans of the book. There is actually a small little fan club dedicated to the Five Fingers. Used to have, and may still do, their own Facebook page, I think. I haven't shared some of this information with them because they frankly regard the book as practically being like a gospel to them. But every so often I am tempted to see if I can't get the book published on Amazon. Need water, need food. I got food. Preferably dead animals. So, have I met the requirement for 10 things you probably didn't know? Let's have a search. Right. I mean, in truth, if I, did flush Mr. Brooks out of the woodwork, I would happily, negotiate possibly sharing the copyright or something. But like I say, if he does get flushed out, he has got his own set of problems to deal with. Oh, more water. Rifle cartridges. Why did somebody dump rifle cartridges in the toilet? Under the stage? What, move this? Oh, yes. No. There's nothing to loot. Oh, hang on. Yes, there is. Nope. Nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you're wondering why I called you all here today. Well, Well, this one. Yeah, the one that's empty, you mean? Ooh. Huh, won't let me move the toaster. Recipe guide. Not sure how that's staying suspended in midair. Yeah, okay. I should probably make some water. Let's have a look outside. Oh! Lots and lots to search. Well, let's at least map. Alright. Where did you say it was? Oh, so I didn't search the freezer. Oh, grief. Nope. Not seeing anything there. Oh, forgot I put the microwave down there. Not seeing anything in here along the lines of what you are describing, Bubba. I'm already overloaded, but I will keep everybody happy and get the pills in the bathroom. Yep, more than enough water in there.
All I can think about is food.
No, I'm not seeing anything, Bubba. Although I will grant you that my ability to see things is, of course, notoriously poor. Office by the entrance. There's an office by the entrance? Oh, yes. You're right, there is. Wow, that's an old computer. Look at this thing. Brings back memories.
I think I can use this.
Oh, I don't know. Well, as I think, if you look, there's only one eject button. But I agree, it does look like dual CDs. So, and a 3.5-inch floppy. So we are looking at late 90s, maybe. Hang on a second. Yeah, we're talking late 90s, early noughties, something like that. Because I remember when I built my first computer, I put a 3.5-inch floppy drive on there. And I didn't really need a 3.5-inch floppy drive at that point, because the internet was sufficiently advanced that you could pretty much download everything you needed. But you did need a DVD.
I'll be hungry later.
You did need a DVD-ROM drive.
I need to drop something.
Yeah. No. No. I am not seeing it. It doesn't matter. I can always come back. Wow, I've got enough ammunition to start a small war. Oh, is that the house? Oh no, that's a church. This is sort of like another Milton. And before you ask, no, I'm not going to pick up absolutely everything. If you remember how I did things in Milton, I just eventually got the stuff I needed as I went along. I don't need to get everything right now.
Better take this food. Too much stuff.
Oh, right. Okay, that's good to know. I'm not into base building. Not at the point. I mean, if I start building bases, I'm going to start thinking about staying longer than I currently do. Don't need that. Always come back. So what would I immediately want if I wanted to pick it up?
Would end up being useful.
Better underclothing? Machine gun ammunition? What on earth is that? I have not seen that before.
This will come in handy.
Yeah, except I'm already overloaded. Look, I can always come back. I'm not in any immediate rush. I'm just finding my way around. Apparently so. What's funny is it still shows up in the stream chat. Hang on a second. Oh.
I could eat anything right now.
Well, it's set to. I think it's set to fairly high because if any young people come, which they probably don't, but if they do, I want this pretty much to be safe for anybody. That's what that's about.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
So that's the community hall. That's a random house. Oh, there's enough to keep me going for a while here. Well, I guess I found where I'm going to be hanging my hat for a while. I know you don't play it necessarily, but me and friends have had some fun. Ooh, that's useful. I've had some fun in Sky, Children of the Light, because they have a filter. Now, their filter is interesting. I can't say YouTube. I can't say Twitter. I can't say any social media. However, there was a time when I could. Other people still can. I have a friend in Malaysia who manages to get away with saying all kinds of things that would not only necessarily get me a warning, it would get me a warning email from them. So the filter in that is quite hilarious. Well, the thing about the filter from my friend in Malaysia is that she's got it set up as an English system. So the system language is English. Everything about it is English, because English is essentially, well, one of 3 or 4 languages that she speaks. But yes, I'm guessing it's the fact that she is coming in from... it's the physical location, not the system, that makes the difference. One of my more amusing warnings
Wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
was... I think I'm going to use the community hall as my base for now. Oh, there's rabbits! Goody! I can terrorize the rabbit population. I need a workbench. Anybody know where there's a workbench here? Ah. But I happened to say in the game that we should go home, H-O-M-E, right? Now, when you're typing on touchscreen, it's easy for things to make mistakes. So what I actually typed in was H-O-E, and the game warned me about using sexual language in the game. Okay, I can still go after rabbits with stones. So I thought that was hilarious. So as I like to say, you can't discuss gardening implements in Sky Children of the Light. Ooh! Fishing! Fishing possibilities. Looks like a good setup here. Why didn't you encourage me to come here further? Sooner. This is a good spot. Yes, I know. I'm joking. You know the rules. Blame anybody but yourself. Rabbits, river, fishing. All I need now is to see a few deer walking around. Well, I was getting bored, so... If I die, I'm going to blame you. And I can make some fire-hardened arrows. What are these guys complaining about? No, I've died very easily on Voyager. Told you the moose trampling incident. Yeah, I thought I'd done that. At least it can't complain about my not spending enough time outside. Anna's seen me. Oh no, Anna was there last night in the blizzard. Sorry, Anna, my memory is terrible. But you were there last night when I headed off through the middle of a blizzard trying to die, and I ended up at the Mystery Lake Lodge in, what do they call it, Broken Railroad?
Pack is getting kind of heavy.
Yeah, that's right. The mucklucks. I nearly checked my clothing to see whether I was wearing them. Oh, we got stump remover. That's nice. I could have made gunpowder.
What have we here?
Something to study.
Someone's stash.
I'm not sure I can get any benefit from the Small Arms Handbook anymore. I'm going to go back to the community hall and drop some stuff off, rather than walk around with a constant risk of spraining myself.
Too heavy.
For this to be more like Milton, all I need now is a moose. And a pot. I need a pot. Right, let us do a little inventory management after I drink some coffee. Okay. I want to repair that. Just out of curiosity.
So hungry.
Did that actually benefit me at all? Not really. Nope. Well, I can't kill anything with the bow. If I'm using fire-hardened arrows, it seems like the arrows bounce off. New stash of stuff. I've got 39 rounds of revolver ammunition. Plus 6 in the gun. 5 in the gun. Well, 44 rounds of ammunition. Yeah, but you know what my goal in the game is? Try and be self-sufficient as much as possible. What time of day is it? I need fire-hardened arrows. I need snares. I need a workbench, which, as you say, is down by the farm. Which I will try and find, probably in the next live stream. So where is the farm from here? Oh, let me guess. Over that way? Yes, but I have been using the magnifying glass as well. Hey, I'm working towards it, alright? Yeah, it's a case of working towards it. You know, reliable supply of arrows, experience, all that sort of thing. Hey, you're right. It is going to be a fair old distance, isn't it? Yeah, well, that's why I started using the bow and arrow to scare off wolves rather than the revolver. Yeah. Oops. That might have been excessive. Well, you're not going to take a hint, are you? Am I going to have to kill you? Well,
Come on. Come on.
oh well, that was exciting. No, but given that I just stabbed the heck out of it, I'm pretty certain I'll find a dead wolf sometime soon. Should have stuck with the bow. And that was today's excitement. Oh, I also ought to check. Oh no, I'll do it when I get back. I've no doubt I'll have to... Now I've got to get rabbits, and I've got to get a deer, because now I'm going to have to fix my clothing. Hang on, I'm going the wrong way. I need to craft bandages, I need, all the usual. I have literally had wolves that close before and either managed to shoot them with the revolver, which I think I've done twice now, or with the bow. That was my least successful attempt at self-defense. I should be ashamed of myself. Oh yeah, I mean, I've nothing else. I've gotten used to fixing myself up. I do need some bandages though. I am slightly infuriated that I use so much ammunition. Stick with the bow. Can't take the pickaxe, I suppose. No, this isn't Minecraft. I want to find out what damage was done to my clothing. Right. Let's have a quick look, see what did I do. Oh, that's all right. That's okay. Okay, that I need some help with. Those are okay. Those are okay. So I need a deer so I can fix my pants. Right. Need to find a deer. Yeah, we're coming up for 2 hours. And in real life I'm getting hungry. Should have brought a deer skin with me. Should have brought a deer skin with me. Should have. Never mind. Never mind. I'll make out. Need to find deer. All right. Or dead one. So it's kind of silly because I had deer skin on me when I left, and I left it behind. Sorry, Anna. No 100 subscriber special today. Yep. I'm gonna wind this up. Actually, I need to go out. I'm getting a bit of cabin fever in here myself. It's a nice day outside. Oh, I'm sure we will. Trying to remember how many I've picked up in the last 28 days. I think in the last month I've got something like 26 subscribers. Which isn't bad. Right. Thank you all so very much for... I'll start that again. Thank you all so very much for watching. I appreciate it. Nice to have you here. No idea if I'll be streaming this evening, and if I do, it's about a 50-50 chance I'll stream The Long Dark again, or I might do something else. As I say, weekends are haphazard. Have a very good weekend all. Stay well, and I will see you quite soon. The moment I figure out